But again, welcome, and our first order of business is always to go to Commissioner Crawford. Commissioner Crawford, would you deliver the invocation, please? But again, welcome, and our first order of business is always to go to Commissioner Crawford. Commissioner Crawford, would you deliver the invocation,
Pray
please?
tonight your guidance over this meeting and for those in attendance. Thank you for keeping us all safe from the virus, keeping us in good health. And Father, we're grateful for that. We're grateful for the many blessings you've given us. Father, our hearts are heavy tonight for those that we've lost in our community, either through this virus or other illnesses. One particular comes to mind is Brent Warner's family. And Father, we lift them up to you tonight, a great man, well known across the Tri-Cities. And Father, we just pray for all of those virus, other illnesses because of this epidemic that's taking place. Bless this time that we have together. May we look to you for guidance in all the decisions that we make. For it's in Christ's name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Larry. Sheriff, would you lead us in the flag?
Salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated. Again, thank you for being here. So next item up is for our clerk for roll call. And I would remind you that all votes tonight will be taken by roll call also. So Madam Clerk, you're recognized to take the roll.
Baker.
Present.
Blaylock. Broughton.
Here.
Calvin.
Present.
Cole. Crawford.
Here.
Cross.
Present.
Crosswhite. Gardner.
Here.
George. Glover.
Here.
Park Road.
Yeah.
Heron. Heron. Heron absent. Hutton.
Here.
Jones. King.
Here.
Leonard.
Here.
Locke.
Here.
Morrell.
Here.
Stanley. Starnes. Stidham. Vance.
Here.
Woods.
Here.
23 present, 1 absent.
Chair recognizes the presence of a quorum. We're conducting our meeting properly. Now it's my great pleasure to introduce to you one of our community heroes. And without the aid of a microphone, I will read from here. Officer Zachary Smith, would you come up to the front and bring your family if you'd like? They don't have to come, but certainly I'll meet you there, and I'll No, I don't. Thank you. It's really certainly a pleasure to recognize outstanding performance on the part of any member of our community, but certainly a member of our esteemed Sheriff's Department here. So if you will, I'd like to read you a certificate that we have prepared to do that. Certificate of recognition presented to Officer Zachary Smith, Sullivan County Sheriff's Office, for exemplary performance of duty. Whereas Officer Zachary Smith is hereby commended for his action for saving the life of a 3-year-old boy at 996 Hartown Road on May 3rd, 2020. EMS on the scene, and Valley Health ER physician Seth Brown all stated that due to Deputy Smith's quick action, he saved the child from a fatal wound to his branchial artery received when the child fell through a glass table. Deputy Smith applied a tourniquet to the upper portion of the child's arm to stop the fatal bleeding until EMS arrived and transported the child. The child is recovering from surgery in Vanderbilt Hospital. Presented on behalf of Sullivan County Board of Commissioners this 21st day of May 2020. Officer Smith, I would love to shake hands with you, but could we bump? Let's show Officer Smith our appreciation. We're happy to have family. We're happy to have family here. Thank you. Officer Smith's a great example of the great leadership that our Sheriff's Department provides for our community. And we want to congratulate all his colleagues at the Sheriff's Department, and certainly Sheriff Cassidy. Thank you. Our next order of business is to recognize one of the great additions that we've made to our county over the last few months, and thanks to the hard work of some of our veterans and veterans representative on the commission. Sam Jones, I'd like to recognize you for the introduction of our guest.
There we go. Something that I've been involved in for quite a while, and Gary Stidham and others have worked hard on this. Some former commissioners were involved that were veterans. And Sullivan County now has, because of your all's support, its first full-time veteran service officer, Mr. Rex Fink. He's currently housed in the Snow House, and he's headed to Murfreesboro June 1st to go through the state certification program with all of the other state veteran service officers. It's a week-long class he has to attend. And I'm going to let him give you a little background of who he is.
Well, good evening. First, I'd like to say thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here. This is something that I've wanted to do since I got out of the Army. I retired from the Army in 2017 with 20 years. I worked for the state of Tennessee as a disabled veterans rep. This job had come open, and it's something I always wanted to do, and I feel like that I can have a huge help to some of these veterans and to get them the benefits that they have earned. I'm married, I got 2 kids, traveled the world, ready to settle down here in Sullivan County. And I do appreciate it. Thank you.
Rex, thank you for being here. Good to have you. And Rex is located at the current time over in the White House, I believe, Rex. And so if y'all wanted to stop by and visit him and welcome him to the county and the great work that he's prepared to do, you can find him there. I believe going in.
It's going out that we have it. I've had 3 calls this week. They're starting to stack up. He can't see them till he's certified, but veterans are in this county, and every bit of the money when he gets, and our other veteran service officers too that work with different agencies, every time a claim approved, that money gets spent in Sullivan County, and it's just a huge asset to our community to have Rex on board. So thank y'all for your support.
Thank you, Commissioner Jones. Appreciate that. I would like to take a minute to thank you, commissioners who have been displaced from your regular areas. I know it's an inconvenience not to have the proper microphone in front of you. But I appreciate you doing that. Appreciate you making the adjustments to allow us to have these meetings. Next up on the agenda is the approval of the commission minutes from the previous meeting. Floor is open for Commissioner Morrell moves adoption, seconded by Commissioner Crawford. Any corrections, additions to the minutes? Any discussion? Seeing none, we're ready to vote on the minutes. There will be a roll call vote, as I mentioned earlier. So when your name is called, please cast your vote. Madam Clerk, take the vote.
Akerd,
Yes.
Blaylock, Broughton,
Yes.
Calton,
Yes.
Cole, Crawford,
Yes.
Cross,
Yes.
Crosswhite, Gardner,
Yes.
George, Glover,
Yes.
Park Road,
Yes.
Heron's absent. Hutton,
Yes.
Jones,
Present. Yes.
King,
Yes.
Leonard,
Yes.
Locke,
Yes.
Morrell,
Yes.
Stanley, Starnes, Stidham,
Yes.
Vance,
Yes.
Woods.
Yes.
23 yes, 1 absent.
Having received the necessary majority of the minutes are adopted. I've failed to introduce someone who I asked to come here and talk to the commission, so I'm not ashamed to go back and correct a mistake. Director Gary Mays, I skipped over you, and I know you all are very familiar with Gary, and we'd like for Gary to come and make a brief report on our health department and our process on fighting the COVID-19. Gary, you're recognized. I believe it's on.
Test 1, 2. Yeah, I'm good. All right. Good evening, and thank you, Mayor. I appreciate the opportunity to come before the commission and give a brief update and take any questions, if I may. Today, as of about 5 o'clock today, is that me? Okay. Sullivan County has confirmed 60 cases since the beginning. Today, we picked up 2 new cases for a total of 60 altogether. In the state of Tennessee, 1,539 have been hospitalized. In Tennessee, it's a hospitalization rate of about 8.1%. 429 cases new today in the state of Tennessee. That's a 2.3% increase in the state of Tennessee, and 24 new hospitalizations today in the state of Tennessee. We, Sullivan County residents have 0 in the hospital today. In Sullivan County particularly, we have, of those 60, 52 are recovered, and we have 6 active cases in Sullivan County and the contacts that we're monitoring associated with them. We have tested 3,400 residents in Sullivan County so far. We have 19 nursing homes and assisted living facilities in Sullivan County, and to date we have tested 12 of those, and hopefully by next week we'll have all 19 tested. We continue to test those that want to be tested. All they have to do is call 279-2777, and anyone that wishes to be tested will set up an appointment, and they can simply drive through and get their test and hopefully get the results back in a couple of days. So is that okay to take questions, Mayor? If anyone has any questions?
Gary, thank you. Anybody have any questions for Gary? I just want to point out that under the leadership of Gary Mays and Dr. Mays at the Health Department, and the cooperation of the people of Sullivan County, we've had a remarkable performance during this difficult time. our stores are open. We're getting back to normal, and it's because of what they've done. And we need to encourage our fellow citizens to continue those hygiene items that they've been practicing for 2 months so we can keep our stores open. It's possible to go backwards, and we don't want to do that. So, Gary, thank you for your leadership over there. And please pass along my thanks to Dr. Bay.
I will, and on behalf of everyone at the Health Department, I certainly will share that, and thankful for your support and the County Commission's support as well. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. I've just been informed by Commissioner Stanley that we have another special guest, and so we're just going to break into the agenda to introduce this young man. We earlier recognized Officer Smith for his heroic act, but I believe we have the young man who he saved here with us tonight, Jackson Anderson. Jackson, are you? Here he comes with his. Oh, there he is. There he is. Come on up here, Jackson. Well, you're a big fella. I assume you're his mother, so thank you for bringing him. We're happy to have him with us, and he'll be a good example of what quick, learned action will do. So, Jackson, thank you. Miss Anderson, thank you. And Sheriff, thanks for getting this together for us. We appreciate that. Okay, I guess we're ready to move on to the next item on our agenda, which is the approval of notary publics, and we do this every time. So I'll, without ado, introduce the clerk and recognize her to read the list of notary public applicants.
Michael Shannon Adams, Angie W. Ballard, Martha C. Blevins, Donna J. Boyer, Lois J. Briggs, Regina L. Browning, Jackie Scott Carpenter, Preston E. Deal, Gina Y. Edens, Faith Gillenwater, Karen Guy, Sheila Hauser, Tracy Michelle Jones, William Jordan, Kenneth Morrell, Rodney Eugene Phillips, Angela Jane Ramey, Alice C. Redwine, Ashley Sant, Elizabeth Ann Shelton, Jack M. Vaughn, Reginald Eric Warren, and Jenny L. Williams.
You've heard the list. Any objections? Commissioner Cole moves to approve as read. Have a second. Commissioner Crawford, Commissioner Woods. Any discussion? Seeing none, we're ready to vote on the list of applicants for the notary public for Sullivan County. Madam Clerk, take the vote.
Akerd,
Yes.
Blaylock, Broughton,
Yes.
Calton,
Yes.
Cole,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Cross, Crosswhite, Gardner,
Yes.
George, Glover,
Yes.
Hartle Road,
Yes.
Heron is absent, Hutton,
Yes.
Jones, King,
Yes.
Leonard,
Yes.
Locke,
Yes.
Morrell,
Yes.
Stanley, Starnes, Stidham,
Yes.
Vance,
Yes.
Woods.
Yes.
23 yes, 1 absent.
Have received necessary majority. The list is approved as presented. Next order of business is the appointments. On your agenda, you'll have appointments to the Board of Equalization. We do not have that nominee yet, so we will do that at our next meeting. So the Bristol Bluff City Utility District has the nomination. Member of the directors. If I may, I'll read that nomination. Whereas the Bristol Bluff City Utility District Board of Commissioners does hereby certify to Sullivan County Mayor Richard Venable pursuant to TCA 7-82-307 that vacancy has occurred upon said utility board by virtue of the expiration of the term of Brian Plank. And whereas the board, Bristol Bluff City Utility District Board of Commissioners further certifies that Brian Plank, the nominee, is qualified, willing to continue to serve on the board and to fill said vacancy. Now therefore be it ordered, adjudged, and decreed by Sullivan County Mayor Richard Venable pursuant to TCA Code 7-82-07 that nominee Brian Plank be appointed to serve on the Bristol Bluff City Utility District Board. And I will sign that, and we will notify Mr. Plank of his nomination and election. I'll have to get you a correct copy of that. Next up, we have amendments to the zoning plan, and we will consider resolution number 1. Commissioner Gardner moves adoption of resolution number 1, seconded by Commissioner Hunter Locke. Drew a blank. Any discussion? We'll recognize that at this time. Then we'll recognize Amber Torbett for a presentation of I believe we have 2 applicants tonight. Applicant number 1, Amber, you're recognized.
Okay, thank you. So you should have 2 separate packets that were emailed and printed off for you. The first request is from Mr. and Mrs. Paquette. That would have been from the March meeting. So if you will, because of all this, we're not going to do our PowerPoint. I figure you have it all in front of you.
I'm going to interrupt you, Amber. In my haste to get you up there, I failed to take a vote.
Resolution number 1.
And
Yes.
it's a little bit different to take roll call votes. So we have a proper motion on the floor by Commissioner Gardner, second by Commissioner Locke. So I will ask the clerk to vote on resolution item number 1. And I probably caught her off guard a little bit there too by my mistake, and then we will go on.
Thank you.
Akers,
Yes.
Blaylock. Yes. Broughton,
Yes.
Calton,
Yes.
Cole, Crawford, Cross, Crosswhite, Gardner, George, Glover, Parker Road,
Yes.
Heron, absent, Hutton, Jones, King, Leonard,
Yes.
Locke, Morrell, Stanley, Starnes, Stidham, Vance, Woods. 23 yes, 1 absent.
Having received necessary majority, item number 1 is adopted. And now I may recognize you, Amber. You're recognized.
Thank you all so much. Okay, so if you'll turn to the March agenda for the Paquette rezoning request. This is over in the Piney Flats area. And they would like to rezone several tracts that were currently zoned R2, which is medium density residential, to B4, which is arterial business. And this property you can see from Highway 11E, but it's on a side road called Carlton Lane. And so if you turn to the tax map or the zoning map, you'll see there's 3 parcels that have not been rezoned yet to B4. The other parcels they own are already zoned B4. And the purpose of this is so they can relocate their existing heating and air company to this highway frontage site. The landowners live in Piney Flats, but this will be their commercial property. It went before the Planning Commission back in February, and there was no opposition, and the Planning Commission forwards a unanimous recommendation to you all for the rezoning request. So in your packet, if you turn to the zoning map, what is colored may be a peach or light orange, which is highlighted in arrows. They are requesting R2 to B4. I know that was brief. Like I said, it's on the corridor of Highway 11E, and it has existing public water from Johnson City. It's in the Bluff City urban growth boundary.
You've heard the explanation. Anybody have any questions? I apologize, Amber. I got
It's okay.
way late. Seeing no questions,
I got.
you don't have anybody appearing. Okay, Dwight, you're recognized.
Amber, how close is that to any sewer?
So the sewer in this area is on the other side of the highway to serve the restaurants, and then serving the industrial part. It comes from Bluff City, and this is kind of a high spot of that area, and so the sewer falls, I guess you would, on Poplar Ridge Road by the car wash. It falls towards Johnson City to serve the subdivisions. And then behind Burger King and Burger King and KFC, that would be Bristol sewer. But on this particular section, there's no sewer. For their purpose, for a heating and air company, they don't need sewer. There are existing septic system permits for each lot. The previous landowner had put on a couple of the lots mobile homes, so it's already per for a septic system, and they mainly just need it for their home office, or their main business office, and their work trucks.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Any other questions for him? Randy, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Amber, is there any known deed restrictions on this property permitting it not to be there?
There are not that I'm aware of, because this was part of a subdivision before, or there are lots of record, I should say. They were divided long ago. The previous landowner had several of the lots rezoned commercial from you all a couple of years ago, and he was going to do sales out of it, but he's moved on.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions? Commissioner Stearns.
Amber, is there any opposition to this?
No, ma'am, none whatsoever. And this public notice and letters have gone out 3 times, so we would have heard by now. Thank you.
Okay. Any others? Sam?
Years, and with Herschel and Dwight's permission, I'll move to approve this.
Motion to approve. Second by Commissioner Glover. Any further discussion? Seeing none, you're ready to vote on application number 1. Madam Clerk, would you take the vote on application number 1?
Akerd,
Yes.
Commissioner Akerd votes yes. Blaylock? Yes. Commissioner Blaylock votes yes. Broughton?
Yes.
Commissioner Broughton votes yes. Calton?
Yes.
Commissioner Calton votes yes. Cole? Commissioner Cole votes yes. Crawford?
Yes.
Commissioner Crawford votes yes. Cross?
Yes.
Commissioner Cross votes yes. Crosswhite? Commissioner Crosswhite votes yes. Gardner?
Yes.
Commissioner Gardner votes yes. George? Yes. Commissioner George votes yes. Glover?
Yes.
Commissioner Glover votes yes. Harker?
Yes.
Commissioner Harker votes yes. Commissioner Herron is absent. Commissioner Hutton?
Yes.
Commissioner Hutton votes yes. Jones? Commissioner Jones votes yes. King?
Yes.
Commissioner King votes yes. Leonard?
Yes.
Commissioner Leonard votes yes. Locke?
Yes.
Commissioner Locke votes yes. Morrell?
Yes.
Commissioner Morrell votes yes. Stanley? Yes. Commissioner Stanley votes yes. Starnes? Yes. Commissioner Starnes votes yes. Stidham?
Yes.
Commissioner Stidham votes yes. Vance?
Yes.
Commissioner Vance votes yes. Woods?
Yes.
Commissioner Woods votes yes. 23 yes, 1 absent.
Having received the necessary majority, application number 1 is approved. Ms. Torres, you're recognized.
Can you hear me? Okay, great. So from the April agenda, this next request is off of Highway 75. The applicant's name is Bill Rowland, but during this time, it's already been sold to Mr. Hoover. And so the request is to rezone the property from B3 R3A, it's a split zone, to M1 for the purpose of relocating a tree service business with heavy equipment. And so this request went to the Planning Commission a couple months ago. Again, this is on Highway 75. And the property is what we call a flag lot. If you look at the map, the frontage is commercial. Everything on the highway has already been rezoned commercially. And up on the hill, at one time, Mr. Rowland, the developer of these tracts, thought he would build apartments on the ridge. But this has been going on for several years, and there's been no interest to build apartments because everything on the highway has been rezoned to commercial. The front lot in front of this request is already a clinic, and there's a storage yard next door. Some of the other tracts are still vacant. But Mr. Hoover would like to rezone this so that he can relocate his landscaping company. It went before the Planning Commission, and they forward a favorable recommendation to you all.
Thank you, Mr. Orbit. Do we have questions on application number 2? Commissioner Stanley and then Commissioner Morrell.
Amber, you said that Mr. Rowland sold the property to Mr. Hoover?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So
he's here.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing a tree trimming service there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, that's the purpose of the rezoning.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What's the difference in the M1? I know manufacturing.
Well, M1 is a very light manufacturing, and we discussed it at length. I'm recommending for an M1 because there's other industrial zones up and down Highway 11W, Highway 75. The B3 is sort of a catch-all general business, and it also allows auto body repair, and it's a very broad zoning district, and M1 is actually more restrictive, and it served his needs more because it allows for his lift trucks, his tree trimming trucks, their work trucks. So the M1 was actually more appropriate for his business.
Okay. And there wasn't any opposition?
No.
Okay.
None whatsoever.
Thank
And this has been noticed. We did a notice in the paper twice on this one, so I would have heard.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
Commissioner Morrell, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Amber, again, is there any known deed restrictions that would prevent anything?
No, because Mr. Rowland was the one that developed this, and he was the original applicant, and he agreed to this. He's been selling off lots as he gets buyers. So no, he did not put any deed restrictions on.
He was the one that.
He created this subdivision.
3A? Okay.
Yes. And the lot next door is for sale, and he's got a bid on it as well that we're working through. You'll probably see that one next.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Further questions from Mr. Orbit? Seeing none, I believe we're ready to vote on application number 2. So I believe these are normally without motion. They can come to you in a, but I forgot that's the first time, Sam. Something I used to know. So we're ready to vote on application number 2. Madam Clerk, take the vote.
Akerd,
Yes.
Commissioner Akerd votes yes. Blaylock? Yes. Commissioner Blaylock votes yes. Broughton?
Yes.
Commissioner Broughton votes yes. Calton?
Yes.
Commissioner Calton votes yes. Cole?
Yes.
Commissioner Cole votes yes. Crawford?
Yes.
Commissioner Crawford votes yes. Cross?
Yes.
Commissioner Cross votes yes. Crosswhite? Commissioner Crosswhite votes yes. Gardner?
Yes.
Commissioner Gardner votes yes. George? Commissioner George votes yes. Glover?
Yes.
Commissioner Glover votes yes. Harkerode?
Yes.
Commissioner Harkerode votes yes. Heron? Absent. Commissioner Hutton?
Yes.
Commissioner Hutton votes yes. Jones?
Yes.
Commissioner Jones votes yes. King?
Yes.
Commissioner King votes yes. Leonard?
Yes.
Commissioner Leonard votes yes. Locke?
Yes.
Commissioner Locke votes yes. Morrell?
Yes.
Commissioner Morrell votes yes. Stanley?
Yes.
Commissioner Stanley votes yes. Starnes?
Yes.
Commissioner Starnes votes yes. Stidham?
Yes.
Commissioner Stidham votes yes. Vance?
Yes.
Commissioner Vance votes yes. Woods?
Yes.
Commissioner Woods votes yes. 23 yes, 1 absent.
And receiving the necessary majority, application number 2 is adopted. Mr. Orvett, thank you for preparation, and preparing committee. Thank you, Commission, for your patience. At this time, we're to the point of our resolution agenda, and before we do that, I want to say that the members who aren't here tonight, Commissioner Harkleroad, Commissioner Broughton, Commissioner Akert, and Commissioner Calton, are absent with our thanks to keep the crowd down in the commission room. They volunteered to meet electronically, so I want to say I appreciate them doing so. I know we all miss getting together because communication's a big part of being county commissioner. So those of you attending electronically, thank you, and we hope to get you all back in the room real quick. And we may even do that with a special call meeting. So next up on our agenda, our old business, we have item number 2, and Commissioner Glover, if you just at your desk, if you would, Commissioner Glover's recognized on item number 2, seconded by Commissioner Crosswhite and others. Herschel, you're recognized.
Mayor, thank you. This original resolution was back in February, and it was a resolution to adopt a 1981 Act in Sullivan County. But since that has happened, with input of all the other commissioners and the State Comptroller's Office, Mr. Mumpire and Mr. Birkin, I'd like to amend this resolution to change it to a resolution to adopt the County Financial Management System of 2020, which would be a private act. Whereas sound business practices dictate that establishing the Sullivan County Financial Management System of 2020 will significantly improve internal controls over the accounting and budgeting process for both the county and the school system. Now therefore it be resolved that the Board of County Commissioners of Sullivan County, Tennessee, assembled in regular session, hereby request the General Assembly of the State of Tennessee to enact the Sullivan County Financial Management System of 2020 as follows for the benefit of the residents of Sullivan County, Tennessee. We provided each of you with a packet that's got the new outline of the 2020 Act in it. If you'll open that up to the first section, if you would, please. Section 1, it was an amendment to Resolution 2020-016, committees established through a private act known as the County Financial System of 2020. This amendment states, it says a resolution to adopt a private act known as the Sullivan County Financial Management System of 2020, whereas like the 1957 laws, Sullivan County Financial Management System of 2020 private act includes the management of school funds just like all other county funds. And it is the purpose of this private act to provide Sullivan County with a modern and efficient system for the management of county finances, including, but not limited to, accounting, budgeting, purchasing, investment oversight, debt management, grant coordination, payroll, and cash management oversight. And whereas, after studying this optional law, this county legislative body of Sullivan County has concluded that it's in its best interest of Sullivan County to follow these procedures in the law, and whereas sound practices dictate that establishing a central system will significantly improve internal controls over the accounting and budget process. And the Division of Local Audit strongly believes, stated in multiple audits back the last 6 years, that this private act be enacted in Sullivan County. We were one of 10 counties across the state that had not enacted a private act. And when Mr. Mumpower and Mr. Burkett come and spoke to us that night, this is what they heavily recommended for Sullivan County to move forward with. And we have took their advice and moved forward with it. Sullivan County should adopt a central system of county budgeting governing all departments. All departments. Sullivan County operates a central purchasing department that makes purchases and enters into contracts for all departments, pursuant to Chapter 261, Private Acts of 1947 as amended, spreads accounting and budgeting. Sullivan County operates under provisions of Section 5-12-101. These acts include provisions for centralized accounting and budgeting under the administration of the Director of Accounts and Budgets for funds maintained by the mayor and road superintendent. However, accounting records for the school department are maintained by the school department personnel. Sound business practices dictate that establishing a central system would significantly improve internal controls over the accounting and budgeting processes. The absence of a central system of accounting and budgeting has been a management decision by the county commission, resulting in decentralization and some duplication of effort. The Division of Local Government Audit strongly believes that the adoption of the central system of accounting and budgeting is the best practice that would significantly improve accountability and the quality of services provided to the citizens of Sullivan County. Therefore, we recommend the adoption of the County Financial Management System of 1981 or a private act, which Sullivan County has decided to go with, a private act, which would provide for a central system of accounting and budgeting covering all county departments. Source, the Division of Local Government Audit. Whereas historically, a best practice has consistently shown superior results over conventional methods. Therefore, by this county legislative body meeting in regular session today, 21st day of May, 2020, that Sullivan County should be governed by the provisions. This act, known as the Sullivan County Financial Management System of 2020, as attached to this resolution, and as it may be amended from time to time through the process of resolution approved by legislators presenting Sullivan County. That means in the future, if we want to tweak this act and make it better, we can do that each year. Approve this 21st day of May 2020 by a 2/3 vote majority of the Sullivan County Board of Commissioners. This resolution shall take effect after its passage. All resolutions in conflict herewith with the same rescinding. I want to thank Mr. Mumpower for coming up and speaking to us a couple of months ago. I want to thank Mr. Burkett for coming up and speaking to us. And I apologize, I could not remember that third fellow's name that spoke at the last. But this is what's been recommended for Sullivan County for, like I said, the last 6 years. And I think this resolution, private act, would improve our communication and our outright moving forward with better communication with the school department and other departments. This resolution, I want to thank a lot of people for helping put this together. This has been a team effort. This has been every commissioner in here, the biggest part of us. And the commissioners I want to thank are the co-sponsors on here, because if you read through this packet that we gave you, the outline, it's got something in there that's going to improve Sullivan County for all of us. But the biggest thing that we need to make aware of, it's going to improve the trust that the Sullivan County people have in us. And that's why we're here. Sometimes we often forget that it's their money that we're managing. And it's their future that we're looking out for. And if we make Sullivan County better, it'll be a better place for them. Commissioner Crosswhite, I want to thank you. Commissioner King, he's been a big asset in helping with this. Ms. Crosswhite has two. Commissioner Broughton, Commissioner Cole, Commissioner Leonard, Dr. Mark Hutton, Commissioner, Ms. Judy Blaylock, Ms. Angie Stanley, Mr. Terry Harkerode. Terry, I want to thank you. One of these provisions in here that you've asked for is the accountability and transparency. And it's in this resolution. Mr. Joe Herron, Gay Stadham, Doug Woods, Hunter Locke, Sam Jones, Randy Morrell, and John Gardner. This, like I said, this resolution represents a little bit of all of us in this that we've asked for and we deserve. And I really want to thank Mr. Larry Bailey for letting us move forward with this resolution because it affects his department more than it does anything. I want to thank his staff in that department too. Leslie and the rest of those folks in there have really worked hard on this. And Larry has worked extremely hard on this. We sent this resolution over and Larry has looked through it, and the changes that were made in it has been for the benefit of his office and plus the benefit of all the county taxpayers of Sullivan County. At this time, I'd like to take any questions if you have them. And also, Larry, I would appreciate your input on this resolution too, and answer any questions if you would. Mayor, I want to thank you. This is something that we decided to do. Each commissioner emailed me or texted me when we talked about this before to go with the 81 Act or the Private Act. So we went back to the drawing board and we redid it for that. And at this time, I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to present this to you. And at this time, if there's any questions, I'll answer.
Commissioner Glover renews his motion for immediate introduction and adoption of item number 2, seconded by Commissioner Crosswhite. We've had a request for sponsors. Was that a sponsor, co-sponsor list?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we will record, take off the recording those co-sponsors. Are everyone voting in the affirmative or?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Move to add as co-sponsors, everyone voting in the affirmative, second by Commissioner Crosswhite. Open for discussion. Commissioner Vance, you've sought recognition.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I've just briefly read over this, and I like what I've read, but I have a couple of questions, and this is operational questions. On page 2 of the back section of sections 1 through 28, on page 2, up in category section 5 of K, it says it requires employees of the finance department be transferred to the finance department and operated under the supervision of the finance director unless otherwise specified in the Sullivan County Finance Management System. I'll probably address this to Mr. Bailey. I assume that statement is referring to the transition of the current situation over into your office. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, it is.
Okay. The question I have, the department over there has 4 or 5 employees that work in their accounts and budget. And those, do we have the authority when preparing the budget? Those employees do not fall under the maintenance of effort requirement. Is that correct? The administration budget of the school superintendent and the office staff and the central office of the school system, that's not part of the maintenance of effort. And the reason I asked that question is that are we going to be able to, when we do this, are we still going to have to fund the school system at that level, even if we're taking on the responsibility over here?
If you read this carefully, it says that the funding for those particular people will be coming from the school department, which will still be in their budget to be transferred over to the general fund to cover the cost for them.
Okay, good, very good. Okay, on page 3, under section 10, we currently will operate under the 19-something Act of Purchasing. So if we approve this, the purchasing agent is that point, an appointment allows the county mayor to appoint the purchasing agent with the majority of the county commission, that's the way it is now. The county commission actually appoints the purchasing agent. So now it's going to become under the mayor, and then we have to reconfirm the appointment for the purchasing agent. Is that correct?
Would be approving the appointment. The commission would be, yes. She would be under, or the purchasing agent would be under the financial management committee once she is in position, and she would be reporting to the financial management committee, and they would be her advisory committee.
Okay. I know under the Private Act, the purchasing agent operates under there are actually some good things about it and there's some bad things about it. And we've talked for years about changing the purchasing agents, how they're set up with, about purchasing requirements and what they can do and what they can't do. And there's been some changes. So if we take this over, is it going to give us an opportunity to change the way the purchasing department is under the private act that they're currently operating under, that to change the way to make it a little bit easier?
Yes, it provides for policy to be developed and approved for her to operate by, so it can come up to date without having to go back necessarily and change the law. This is primarily, she will be operating under policies that's established and approved by this body ultimately.
So basically, we wouldn't have to approve copier contracts anymore. It could be written in.
That's a totally different thing. Copier contracts, those auditors will come looking for us if we don't get those approved. That's a requirement of
Okay.
debt and obligation of the county.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner Vance. Any other questions for the sponsor or for Mr. I've got
Go ahead and let Dwight go.
Commissioner King first, Commissioner Stern second, and Dan, I believe you want to be recognized. Okay.
Thank you, Mayor. I know back when the audit come out and we were looking at this and at the audit and what they were recommending and I talked to Commissioner Glover that, at that time that, we needed to do something. And I commend him and others for taking the step forward to do this. And like he said, there's been a lot of work done on this. I know our budget director, Mr. Bailey, has done a lot going over this. I've talked to him several times about things that has come up. His staff also and other commissioners that Herschel and I have talked to. And I think this is a big deal here that we're getting ready to vote on. And I'd like to see we can't do a 24-0 vote, but I'd sure like to see a 23-0 vote sent to the General Assembly in the state of Tennessee showing that we're all in support of this. And I think this would make Sullivan County better. I think it'd open up more trust and more transparency for all of our departments. So I'm would truly ask for everybody to vote on this and let's send it down there in a positive form. Thanks.
Thank you, Commissioner King. County Attorney Street.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My question is, the purchasing agent currently operates under a private act. Is it the intent of this resolution and this new private act to rescind the current private act that the purchasing agent operates under and place all that under this one?
I'll let Mr. Bailey answer that one.
Yes, that would be what this would accomplish. It would accomplish allowing it to come up to date and get it all collected in policies and procedures that are in one place instead of the different amendments to the old private act.
That answer your question.
Yes, I guess right off the top of my head, we might want to put in the resolution then that those private acts as amended for the purchasing agent are to be rescinded. I think we probably ought to do that.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not saying that's the intent. That was my question. Is that the intent? If the answer is yes, then we probably ought to put in this that it is to be rescinded.
I quit practicing law a long time ago, but it seems that the adoption of this with that provision in it, but I'll leave that up to the sponsor. I've got a list, Andrew.
It deals with that question in particular, if that's okay. It deals with that question in particular. I was just going to point out something.
Okay.
It says.
Go ahead. I've got a list. If you go ahead. Since you're recognized, go ahead.
I was just going to point out, I mean, it wasn't a question. It was just that it says all resolutions in conflict will be rescinded at the end of the resolution.
Well, she actually operates under a private act, so that's.
Private act, not a resolution. Commissioner Stone.
I just want to go on record as saying I support this, but I'm going to abstain since it deals with the taking of money since I'm employed by them. So, but I support it wholeheartedly because I do believe in transparency.
Thank you. Okay, others that want to be recognized on the resolution for adoption. Commissioner George, I hard to see you back there in the corner. I'm sorry.
What are we looking at in terms of when, if we approve this, are you thinking it will go through and actually would this be in the General Assembly? What kind of time frame are we looking at? So when would this actually go into effect?
We're hoping that the General Assembly will take this up as soon as they go back into session. We'll be sent down and hopefully our state representatives will get this through and get voted on for us. It will have to come back to us again for a second vote. And the reason for that is when it passes the General Assembly, they will assign a private act number for Sullivan County. And then we will be voting on that to accept that number. And then it will be law.
Timing wise, we have to do a second time, and then at the second vote, it can come be in right then. There's not a second time wait for it or anything.
As soon as the General Assembly passes and sends it back to us in a timely manner, at our next meeting after we receive it, we'll vote on that. Okay. And if we accept that number, then that's when it will go into effect.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's pass that microphone around because I don't think we probably got your original question recorded, but maybe one of the other mics did it. Anybody else? And those of you joining us from afar, if I've missed you, wave your hand or break in. I got you, Commissioner Stanley. You're on the list. Commissioner Stanley.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want some clarity. The Sullivan County Financial Management Committee, whenever that is formed and whatever they vote on and it passes, does that have to come to the full commission for passage also? Or is it just what?
Oh, you're saying private act when it passes?
Yeah.
I believe the sponsor said General Assembly will pass it, transmit it back to the county commission. It has to pass by 2/3 vote.
Sorry. Well, what I'm saying is like the committee, that the budget committee that you all will have that consists of like the superintendent, the mayor, and the road superintendent, that committee that is formed, whatever that committee votes on, does it come back to the full commission for the commission to vote on it?
I'll let either sponsor or Mr. Riley answer that.
Mr. Bailey, I'm going to let you answer that question.
It would come down to what in particular business they were taking up and voted on. It's provided here that policies will be established and it outlines certain policies that will be, and that will make the policy and put it in place. It's authorizing. There's other things they may be doing that will have to come back before this body to be approved. It's according to the level of importance of it and the level of how it's addressed here in this private act.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Jones, you're recognized.
If I read that correctly, that finance committee is still specifically within 3 commissioners that are elected for this body. So we elect 3. If you read that list, we elect 3 of the others are spelled out specifically by their, whether they're county mayor or the finance director.
The finance committee will consist of number 1, the county mayor, number 2, chief administrative officer of the county highway department, county director of schools, finance director during the implementation period of a non-voting member. That will be the finance director. The only time he can vote is if there's a tie. We'll have 3 county commissioners that will be elected by the Sullivan County Board of Commissioners. 1 additional appointee of the Sullivan County could be appointed by the mayor, selected by the county legislative body, or from a school board member. That would be up to the mayor. That's how the finance committee would be formed.
Thank you. Further questions? Seeing none, Terry, do you have a question? You're recognized, Commissioner Harkleroad.
Well, went over this thing forwards and backwards, and I'd just like to commend Commissioner Glover for the hard work that he's done on this resolution and the team effort that was put into this resolution. You know, whenever you find something that needs to be done for your county, and you include all input from different sources, that has done the job right. So, Commissioner Glover, I congratulate you. Whether this passes or fails, I really think it's a show of your intelligence, of including people that try to do what's right for this county. And I can't thank you enough for the hard work and all the time that you spent on it. And so congratulations to you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other of our remote commissioners seek any recognition? If not, anybody that is with us that seeks recognition. Due to the unusual measures we're having to meet under, we had forwarded this resolution to the director of schools, and I believe that he distributed to his members. And I would like to say, if they're joining us at this time, I'd be happy to recess for any member of the school board. We have member Jane Thomas with us tonight, and Ms. Thomas, you're welcome here. But if we do have Dr. Cox viewing tonight and would like to speak on this, I'd like to invite him to do so at this time. If you're there. Not having any reply. Ms. Thomas, I don't know that, I don't want to embarrass you, but you would speak if you felt like it, and you're welcome to do so if you'd like. And we realize that you're speaking as a member of the school board, and certainly turn that up. Do a test.
The budget meeting yesterday between the budget committee and the school board. We are so fortunate in this county to have Ingrid Deloach. She is a huge asset. And she had prepared, I think going back 10 years, you all saw the material and the statistics that she had for us yesterday. And I was disappointed that we did not get to go through that budget material in full. I think things got kind of sidetracked, and I'm really, and I know it's the wish of every commissioner and every school board member that we do have clear communication and not operate on a misunderstanding of what numbers really are. So we're going to move forward, I'm sure, with this, and I hope we can have real understanding and transparency, because we are here for our taxpayers, our children, our teachers, and for the welfare of this county. And I want us to be all in unity in what we're doing moving forward in this county. So thank you all. And I hope we can really listen to each other. How did you feel about the meeting yesterday? Were questions answered? Did you feel like questions were answered?
Well, Ms. Thomas, of course, we're in the middle of a resolution.
Oh, sorry.
And I would be happy, I'm sure each member would be happy to talk to you about that in the future. I just wanted to make sure you're recognized and say what you want to, but the budget process is difficult, as you say, and we need to have better communication.
Yes.
So we appreciate you being here tonight. And as I say, after the meeting, if you're all able to stay, we can talk about that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for coming. And maybe if any other members or if Dr. Cox is there, we'll be happy to recognize them. Seeing none, we'll go back into session, and we have a motion on the floor for adoption. Any further questions for the sponsor?
Mayor, I would like to point out something, please. On page 5, on section 18, when Ms. Thomas was talking about transparency and accountability, I think this is what's going to improve the healing process moving forward, is this particular section. I think it will put us all on the same page. We'll all know where we stand. And not only it will be a benefit for the commissioners, it's going to be a benefit for the taxpayers of Sullivan County. The taxpayers of the county have asked for this. They have wanted this, and they deserve this. Like I said, the taxpayers are the ones that pays the bills and give us the opportunity to be here. And in that section, the budgetary report requires a monthly budget report from the finance director. It also requires the monthly budget report to be posted on the county's website on or before the 15th day of the following month. It defines budgetary responsibilities of all department heads. So I don't think that we could ask for anything better than that type of transparency and accountability. If any commissioner wants printed copies for any questions that they have, provide a printed copy to the budget director requesting in writing and anybody else, and it will be gave to you. So I think moving forward that this is going to be a very good, positive in healing the process that we've been through. Sam?
Commissioner Jones.
We're currently getting, I think, quarterly from all the department heads reports coming in. Is this going to require those to be put on the county website also? I think just commissioners are getting those reports, like from the library and purchasing and different ones. Are all of those now going to be on the county website? Is that what you're saying?
That's the interpretation that I have of this, yes.
Okay. I mean, I think.
And I would like to point out something, and I think Mr. Bailey can answer his question better than I can. Larry, how long has it been since we've had a report from the school system determined to this process?
Some people may have had a report. I've not seen a report from the school department during the last term of the last school director. In other words, there may be reports out there. I've asked, I've not seen it. It's not on their website. I've looked there. And if they're putting a detailed report, always before when Harry Trent was here, he brought a report down every month and put it in people's boxes. And then after he left, the others have done so. And I guess during the term of the previous school director, I don't think we ever got any. I don't remember ever seeing them. That's not saying they didn't make them for certain people, but I didn't see one. And I've talked to them. I've talked to Ingrid in the last year. She sent some information down for me to share, and I encouraged her to share more with me, and I've not seen it, quite frankly.
It appears you're ready to, Commissioner George, you're recognized, please.
partial on what Dan said, Dan Street's amendment, did that go anywhere or did that stop? That's what I just want to clarify what we're voting on because I am behind a poll from the two of y'all.
Dan has asked for.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I've actually found a couple places that I would suggest we do that. If it's at the end of the resolution, it says all resolutions in conflict. I believe that was already pointed out. That's in there twice. If we just add the word in private acts.
Yes, sir.
And then finally, on page 24, section 26 of the actual private act that's getting passed, it's the very last page, talks about if this private act conflicts with any other private act. I would like to add, if you would, please, at the end of section 26, are you with me?
Yes, sir.
The words, comma, put a comma there and then put, and chapter 261, comma, private acts of 1947, comma, as amended, is hereby rescinded.
Mr. Spencer, you accept?
Is that fine with you, Mr. Bailey, since this is affecting your office and the way things are handled?
Yes, sir. It's fine. That's fine. It clarifies it, and there'll be no doubt that it's intended to.
Madam Clerk, if you,
That'd be fine.
The county attorney get the proper wording and the sponsor accepts the amendment.
Yes, sir.
Amendment number 1 to item number 2. I believe you're ready to vote. I don't see anyone seeking recognition. This is a huge vote. It requires 16 votes for passage and transmittal to our legislative delegation. Commissioner Stanley,
I just got one question. If there is a TCA code out there, Dan, under the TCA code 492101, on section 2 of that, it requires the County Board of Education through the County Director of Schools to make a quarterly report of the receipts and expenditures of public school funds that needs the needs of the county elementary, high schools, and middle schools, the progress made in their development, and other information to the administration of the public schools. So then the next one, it says that they're supposed to make that quarterly report to the county legislative body. So will that?
I think that probably ought to be directed to Mr. Bailey.
Okay. Would that supersede this code? Or do you go?
That would probably be in addition to a general education statute you're referring to there.
Yes.
And this would just be on top of that. That's all it would do, reinforce it more clearly.
Okay.
Anyone else? Seeing none, we're ready to vote. Mr. Glover renews his motion for adoption, seconded by Commissioners Crosswhite and others. Madam Clerk, take the vote.
Akerd?
Yes.
Mr. Akerd votes yes. Blaylock? Yes. Commissioner Blaylock votes yes. Broughton?
Yes.
Commissioner Broughton votes yes. Calton?
Yes.
Commissioner Calton votes yes. Cole?
Yes.
Commissioner Cole votes yes. Crawford?
Yes.
Commissioner Crawford votes yes. Cross?
Yes.
Commissioner Cross votes yes. Crosswhite?
Yes.
Commissioner Crosswhite votes yes. Gardner?
Yes.
Commissioner Gardner votes yes. George?
Yes.
Commissioner George votes yes. Glover?
Yes.
Commissioner Glover votes yes. Harkerode?
Yes.
Commissioner Harkerode votes yes. Heron? Absent. Hutton? Commissioner Hutton votes yes. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Jones votes yes. King?
Yes.
Mr. King votes yes. Leonard?
Yes.
Commissioner Leonard votes yes. Locke?
Yes.
Commissioner Locke votes yes. Morrell?
Yes.
Commissioner Morrell votes yes. Stanley?
Yes.
Mr. Stanley votes yes. Starnes?
Abstain.
Commissioner Starnes abstains. Stidham?
Yes.
Mr. Stidham votes yes. Vance?
Yes.
Commissioner Vance votes yes. Woods?
Yes.
Commissioner Woods votes yes. 22 yes, 1 absent, 1 abstain.
Having received the necessary majority, item number 2 is adopted and will be, when certified by the county clerk, will be forwarded to our legislative delegation in the General Assembly with a request for consideration of the private act at the earliest possible moment when the General Assembly reassembles in June. Next up, item number 3. Commissioner Crosswhite, you're recognized on item number 3.
Thank you, Mayor. We went over this last meeting, that Mr. Blackburn has agreed to take $145,000 for this property. And a couple of things I'd like to add. This property will sell if we don't buy it, and it's right next to the Dennis Hauser's Park. And if somebody private buys this home, you know, they might not appreciate anything that we do at the park. So we have to consider that. And also, we've got to think about our future. There's not that much land in the little courthouse square. That there's only one other private property. So I hope that you all will understand that we desperately need this land. And also, he went ahead and had his inspection, which you should have a copy of it. Everything was fine. And that's basically all I've got to say about it, unless someone has some questions.
Mrs. Crosswhite renews her motion, seconded by Commissioners Cole and Leonard. Up for discussion? Okay. Darlene, they're pointing the screen. I'm sorry. I appreciate it. Ms. Counselor, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. Where is the other piece of property that you're talking about? Besides, where is the other piece of property that you're talking about besides this?
It is the Ed Bush property that's right next to it's the second house up from the Dairy Inn.
Oh, yeah, I thought that one. You already had that. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, others, I'll check my screen first. Commissioner King.
Ms. Crosswhite, who's going to pay the closing cost on this? Who's going to prepare the deeds and all that?
I have not asked the seller on this, but since we're buying it, I would think that we would have to.
Well, that's something we need to discuss. I mean, that's a cost to. It'd be a cost to us if we do it. Usually the seller.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That'd be something I would have to ask him or Mr. Bailey or Mayor Venable. Is that, I don't sell that much property. Is that appropriate for the seller to?
Well, I think whatever conditions the commission wants to put on it would be. I'll make a list. Commissioner George, you seem to be a resident expert. You're recognized. Would you want to address that?
Yep. There is.
Is there any closing costs to this?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah, very hard to hear.
But that's not a whole lot of time.
I start to pay.
Sorry. Okay. On a normal commercial contract, the seller is going to pay for the preparation of deed and the proration of taxes. The buyer will pay for the title search and for the transfer fees with the recording of the deed. If there's any other cost incurred that are, because the buyer is doing the work to prepare to close, they are normally the buyer's cost. So we're not looking at a ton of money on this at all. The main thing will be the transfer fee, which is 39 cents per 100 on the purchase price. The title search will normally run you $250 to $350 as your closing fee. $250 to $350 is your closing fee for your title search, and to have everything for the paperwork prepared to transfer the title.
We can probably get out about $750.
39 cents per hundred is your transfer tax, but
Okay, thank you for the explanation.
does that answer your question on that? But that is what's normal with any purchase agreement when you go into something like this.
And Mr. Blackburn, as you all know, is a realtor too, so I'm sure he's aware of all of this, so.
Right.
And he has come down from 151, so that's about all I can say. He's done everything we've asked with inspection and.
Okay, Commissioner King is recognized.
Is there a current survey? When was the last time it was surveyed?
I have no idea, but I'm sure he hasn't really had that house that long, so I'm sure it's current.
Okay, any other questions for this?
What?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Is that something we need to do? I mean, we've got a surveyor that works for the highway department. Could he just check the corners and make sure that everything's right before we?
Certainly, I think that's a reasonable request, but the owner of the property, all the property adjacent to that is owned by the county.
Right.
But it would certainly be appropriate to have a survey.
Right.
To have that off, and we will, with the commissioner's approval, we will amend the resolution to provide for survey and cost incurred. She seems to be typing. You accept that amendment? Okay. Mr. Blaylock, you're recognized.
The only question I have, and I forgot to ask this last time, is we had one appraiser on this, and I thought somewhere I'd read somewhere where anytime the county bought something, we had to have 3 appraisals. Is it true we only just have to have 1?
Not to my knowledge. I would refer that to the county attorney.
I don't
Do
think.
we have to have?
No,
Or do we
I-
have to have very many?
Not in something like this. I don't.
I mean, what?
I don't. No, I don't think we have. I think
There's not a
one's
rule.
sufficient. No rule.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Other questions for the sponsor? Commissioner Hutton, you're recognized.
Joyce, I don't know that you can answer this question, but I mean, it looks like the initial cost on this property is $145,000. What's it going to cost us to renovate it for offices? I mean, where's that going to come from?
I don't really think that we have any idea. I don't know for sure what the mayor plans on doing with the property, and so that will depend on who goes in there, but.
Right. So 145 is not the actual cost of the property.
No, there will be some renovation because you'll have to make it handicap accessible and.
Right.
I might shed some light on that, Commissioner, if I can, with the response. This county buildings would probably do any renovation.
Say it again. I didn't.
County buildings, our county buildings department, who just recently renovated the clerk's office, they normally do renovations of county-owned buildings. So I think that's why we don't have a renovation cost in the.
That would be helpful to. I mean, we're gonna approve $145,000 for a house, and knowing full well it's going to cost us actually more than that. It'd be helpful to, have a long-range plan on that. Like, what's the actual cost of this property? What's it going to be used for? What's it going to cost to renovate it? Rather than sort of a piecemeal, you buy it and then there's this other looming cost, and where's that going to come from? What's it for? Those are things that are kind of helpful. But let's just not too much to ask.
Thank you. Any further questions for the sponsor? Dan, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would assume that we're going to get a general warranty deed here. But it's not in the resolution, so we need to get that clarified. Sullivan County usually just gives quick claim deeds, but when we buy property, we generally get a general warranty deed. And what that is the owner promises, for lack of better words, that he owns it, and if something goes wrong with the title, he'll stand good for it.
I feel like that won't be a problem.
Could we amend the resolution to that the seller will provide general warranty deed?
Yes, we can do that. And he also said that he has had it surveyed. It said it's just several years ago, and it's has a good legal description in the deed. So, like I said, Mr. Blackburn is a realtor, and he is concurring that Ms. George is correct on what she said.
I believe you need to respond to, Dan asked if you would accept it,
Yes.
an amendment.
I thought I
Now, Dan can't make that amendment. Somebody else will. You'll have to make the amendment yourself, Commissioner. Now, I'm getting a list. So you will amend it yourself.
Yes.
You move for the amendment. Okay.
Yes, sir.
You accept it. Commissioner Glover.
Thank you, Mayor. I think anytime that we can purchase a piece of property that joins the courthouse and our historic district like this piece of property does, we need to take advantage of it. Even if we don't move forward with a plan right now of renovating it or moving someone into it, it does join the courthouse property. It does join the Dennis Hauser Park. And I think it would be a good investment for the county to go ahead and purchase it before it slips away from us. Like I said, I do think it is a good investment, the location of it, and I'm going to vote yes for it.
Commissioner Cross, did you seek recognition?
Only to propose that amendment. That was all.
Thanks, sir. Further discussion? See none. How about our electronic visitors? Any questions from you? I might overlook you. Seeing none, we're ready to vote on item number 3. Madam Clerk, item number 3 as amended. Madam Clerk, take the vote.
Akerd?
Yes.
Commissioner Akerd votes yes. Blaylock?
Yes.
Commissioner Blaylock votes yes. Broughton?
Yes.
Commissioner Broughton votes yes. Calvin?
Yes.
Commissioner Calvin votes yes. Cole?
Yes.
Commissioner Cole votes yes. Crawford?
Yes.
Commissioner Crawford votes yes. Cross?
Yes.
Commissioner Cross votes yes. Crosswhite?
Yes.
Commissioner Crosswhite votes yes. Gardner?
Yes.
Commissioner Gardner votes yes. George?
Yes.
Commissioner George votes yes. Glover?
Yes.
Commissioner Glover votes yes. Harkerroad?
Yes.
Commissioner Harkerroad votes yes. Heron? Absent. Hutton?
No.
Commissioner Hutton votes no. Jones?
Yes.
Commissioner Jones votes yes. King?
Yes.
Commissioner King votes yes. Leonard?
Yes.
Commissioner Leonard votes yes. Locke?
Yes.
Commissioner Locke votes yes. Morrell?
Yes.
Commissioner Morrell votes yes. Stanley?
Yes.
Commissioner Stanley votes yes. Starnes?
Yes.
Commissioner Starnes votes yes. Stidham?
Yes.
Commissioner Stidham votes yes. Vance?
Yes.
Commissioner Vance votes yes. Woods?
Yes.
Commissioner Woods votes yes. 22 yes, 1 no, 1 absent.
Having received necessary majority, item number 3 is adopted as amended. Next up on the resolution agenda, Commissioner Morrell, you're recognized on item number 4.
I've got a question for.
I'm sorry, Commissioner King, did I overlook you?
I think as we go forward, if we ever buy more property, we need to have a little better system of buying property than what we've done on this. And it's nothing against Joyce or how she done it. She was giving it to her and this is what you're doing. But everything that we've done, the seller knew everything we were doing. And if you're negotiating on property, you don't tell the one party or the other every move that you're going to make. So I think we need to have some kind of a system that one person or a real estate or agent or something would do negotiating back and forth to where everything's not out in the open and we're just sitting here coming up with different things that we're going to add this or take away that or do this or offer this or that. I mean, to me, that's not a way to do a good deal. It was good for him, but for us, I just think we could have a better system. We just need to look at maybe looking at if we ever do this again, how we do it.
Mr. King, I'm going to assume that's your opinion, and I think we just went through that process, and unfortunately, that we can't follow a typical real estate trail because we operate in sunshine, and most of this negotiation has to be done in front of the public. But I don't mean to answer your question. I think we could do things a lot better, but not just this thing. We could do a lot of things better.
That's my opinion. You're right. That's my opinion.
Okay. Ms. Crosswise, you don't.
This is something rare to get this property right here in the middle of.
Well, yeah, I appreciate your comments. Let's move on.
Yes, sir. Thank everyone.
We've passed that and that's over. And
Yes, thank you, sir.
thank you. Commissioner Morrell, you're recognized. Commissioner Morrell, if you will, we're going to take a break.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
We're going to recess for 15, be back here at quarter of 8.
I guess.
Take your mask off and up.
I guess it's not. We don't have to have appraisers.
Yeah.
We can invite the commissioners back to their seats, and those folks that are home, I hope you've had a chance to get some refreshment. I'd like to thank whoever left me the cough drops. I don't know who did that, but thank you. Our clerk brought me cough drops. Thank you. So we're ready to get back to our agenda. Thank you for your patience, and I think we need that little break. So, Commissioner Morrell, we'll recognize you. Recognize you one more time. You're up.
I'm ready, Mr. Chairman. On this resolution, at the request and recommendation from the Sullivan County Planning and Zoning Department and also the Sullivan County Highway Department, they have asked me to defer this till June. We are still waiting on some information that's going to be coming to us that is of interest with this resolution. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Morrell. Without objection, we will do, we will move item number 4 to the first item on next calendar. Next up, item number 5. Commissioner Vance, you're recognized on item number 5.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, thank you. This resolution here, there's been some change in the planning office on the GIS coordinator for the planning department. It used to be a contracted services that we paid an outside individual. What this is doing is we're asking to amend their budget to go from an outside individual to an individual that will be working in the planning and zoning. This will be a savings to the county. This was discovered during the budget meeting and so forth, and it was an oversight. So I'm open for any questions. I'm not going to read this resolution to you because you can read. So does anybody have any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Vance. Mr. Vance moves for adoption of item number 5, seconded by Mr. Gardner. And Mr. Vance, with your permission, could I comment?
Absolutely, sir.
I met earlier with the executive committee this afternoon, and the explanation of why we're where we are, and I'm glad we discovered this in our budget hearing because I had, in filling this position, I had approved filling position thinking it was a full-time position after Russ had rejoined us. And then when he resigned his part-time position, I told the executive committee I was there to fall on my sword for having made a mistake. So what Commissioner Vance is doing is asking you to approve this position in retrospect. And as he mentioned, it is a savings to the county with an extremely qualified employee, young man named Matthew McConnell. So, Mr. Vance, thank you. Mr. Vance renews his motion, second by Commissioner Gardner. Any questions for the sponsor or me? Seeing none, I guess it appears we're ready to vote on item number 5. Madam Clerk, would you take the vote on item number 5?
Akerd?
Yes.
Commissioner Akerd votes yes. Blaylock? Yes. Commissioner Blaylock votes yes. Broughton?
Yes.
Commissioner Broughton votes yes. Calhoun?
Yes.
Commissioner Calhoun votes yes. Cole?
Yes.
Commissioner Cole votes yes. Crawford?
Yes.
Commissioner Crawford votes yes. Cross?
Yes.
Commissioner Cross votes yes. Crosswhite?
Yes.
Commissioner Crosswhite votes yes. Gardner?
Yes.
Commissioner Gardner votes yes. George?
Yes.
Mr. George votes yes. Glover?
Yes.
Mr. Glover votes yes. Harker-Road?
Yes.
Commissioner Harker-Road votes yes. Heron absent. Hutton?
Yes.
Mr. Hutton votes yes. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Jones votes yes. King?
Yes.
Mr. King votes yes. Leonard?
Yes.
Mr. Leonard votes yes. Locke?
Yes.
Commissioner Locke votes yes. Morrell?
Yes.
Commissioner Morrell votes yes. Stanley?
Yes.
Commissioner Stanley votes yes. Starnes?
Yes.
Mr. Starnes votes yes. Stidham?
Yes.
Commissioner Stidham votes yes. Vance,
Yes.
Commissioner Vance votes yes. Woods?
Yes.
Commissioner Woods votes yes. 23 yes, 1 absent.
Having received the necessary majority, item number 5 is adopted as prepared. Thank you, Mr. Vance. Next up, item number 6, under old business.
This item is being withdrawn at this time till,
You recognize Mr. Jones.
thank
Mr. Jones moves to withdraw item number 6 from the commission. Any objection? Seeing no objection, item number 6 is hereby withdrawn from the commission. Next up, we're on to new business now, and if you want to, if your intent is just to have first reading, you can say so and we'll move on, or otherwise if you want to have further explanation or to waive the rules for adoption tonight. So first up is Commissioner Broughton with item number 7. Commissioner Broughton, you're recognized from your humble abode.
Thank you, Mayor. On this one, it's just first reading, and I'm sure we'll have some good discussion next month about it.
Thank you, Mr. Broughton. Without objection, for first reading. Next up, item number 8. Commissioner Calton, you're recognized on item number 8 from your home.
Well, thank you, Mayor and Commissioners. This is a resolution that I would like to ask for a waiver of rules, and it is to post a 25 miles per hour speed limit on Oak Forest Place, which is off of Poplar Grove Road, and it has filled up with probably 8 or 9 houses on the straightway, and it has more children there, and they have asked me to place a 25 miles per hour sign, and it's never had one before, and I would ask for your support.
Commissioner Calton moves for the immediate introduction and adoption of item number 8, is seconded by Commissioner Stearns. Any discussion? Commissioner
The only
Blaylock.
question I had was that since they never had a sign before, do they not have to go around and ask people that live on that street if that's what they want or anything?
I would refer that to the commissioner. Commissioner Stearns, you recognize.
We had a lady who was almost in a panic, almost. She said the speeding was really bad, and there's some, like Darlene said, some kids and even some elderly on there that are even afraid to go out in their yards or anything. So we're just trying to get it up. But
You don't have to, there's not a rule that you
no, not to my knowledge.
Okay. Well, I've been told that because there is.
You're recognized.
I think if there's not a sign like in subdivisions and places that it is 25 miles per hour, but to be able to enforce it, it needs to be placed, but all do not have signs.
Now, what'd she say? I didn't hear that. I'm sorry.
No, she didn't hear it.
Sorry.
Okay.
I didn't hear it, but go ahead. It's my fault. I didn't hear it.
Well, Commissioner Calvin, would you repeat that? Because Commissioner Blaylock couldn't hear it.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir, I don't mind. I said in subdivisions, all of them do not have signs, but they are 25 miles per hour if they are not posted. And this one's never had one, and we just thought it would get enforced more, but it's not asking something that there's a rule for all subdivision roads or streets or courts.
Thank you, Commissioner Calvin. Commissioner Blaylock. I hope the sound is tough
Yeah, it
sometimes.
sounds terrible. I couldn't understand.
Any other questions on item number 8? We're ready to vote on item number 8. Madam Clerk, take the vote.
Akerd?
Yes.
Commissioner Akerd votes yes. Blaylock?
Yes.
Commissioner Blaylock votes yes. Broughton?
Yes.
Commissioner Broughton votes yes. Calton?
Yes.
Commissioner Calton votes yes. Cole? Yes. Commissioner Cole votes yes. Crawford?
Yes.
Commissioner Crawford votes yes. Cross?
Yes.
Commissioner Cross votes yes. Crosswhite?
Yes.
Commissioner Crosswhite votes yes. Gardner?
Yes.
Commissioner Gardner votes yes. George?
Yes.
Commissioner George votes yes. Glover?
Yes.
Commissioner Glover votes yes. Harker Road?
Yes.
Commissioner Harker Road votes yes. Heron? Absent. Hutton?
Yes.
Commissioner Hutton votes yes. Jones?
Yes.
Commissioner Jones votes yes. King?
Yes.
Commissioner King votes yes. Leonard?
Yes.
Commissioner Leonard votes yes. Locke?
Yes.
Commissioner Locke votes yes. Morrell?
Yes.
Commissioner Morrell votes yes. Stanley?
Yes.
Commissioner Stanley votes yes. Starnes?
Yes.
Commissioner Starnes votes yes. Stidham?
Yes.
Commissioner Stidham votes yes. Vance?
Yes.
Commissioner Vance votes yes. Woods?
Yes.
Commissioner Woods votes yes. 23 yes, 1 absent.
Have received necessary majority. Item number 8 is adopted. Next up, item number 9, Commissioner King, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. I would like to put this on waiver of rules. This is a resolution to install a stop sign at the intersection of Popple Ridge Court and Popple Ridge Road. This is a new road in a new subdivision. It never did have a stop sign, and they're wanting to put a stop sign up to where Popple Ridge Court tees into Popple Ridge Road. Also, I'd like to correct some spelling on this. Popular, it's Poplar, and it's on here about 4 or 5 different places. So I would like to correct the spelling on that.
We can do that as a typographical error.
Right, and it's also on the back too. It's in 2 places.
Mr. King renews his motion for the immediate introduction and adoption of item number 9, seconded by Commissioner Glover. Require 16 votes for passage on first reading. Any questions for the sponsor? Any comments? Seeing none, we're ready to vote on item number 9. Madam Clerk, take a vote.
Akerd?
Yes.
Commissioner Akerd votes yes. Blaylock?
Yes.
Commissioner Blaylock votes yes. Broughton?
Yes.
Commissioner Broughton votes yes. Calton?
Yes.
Commissioner Calton votes yes. Cole? Commissioner Cole votes yes. Crawford?
Yes.
Commissioner Crawford votes yes. Cross?
Yes.
Commissioner Cross votes yes. Crosswhite? Commissioner Crosswhite votes yes. Gardner?
Yes.
Commissioner Gardner votes yes. George?
Yes.
Commissioner George votes yes. Glover?
Yes.
Commissioner Glover votes yes. Harker Road?
Yes.
Commissioner Harker Road votes yes. Heron? Absent. Hutton?
Yes.
Commissioner Hutton votes yes. Jones?
Yes.
Commissioner Jones votes yes. King?
Yes.
Commissioner King votes yes. Leonard?
Yes.
Commissioner Leonard votes yes. Locke?
Yes.
Commissioner Locke votes yes. Morrell?
Yes.
Commissioner Morrell votes yes. Stanley?
Yes.
Commissioner Stanley votes yes. Starnes?
Yes.
Commissioner Starnes votes yes. Stidham?
Yes.
Commissioner Stidham votes yes. Vance?
Yes.
Commissioner Vance votes yes. Woods? Commissioner Woods votes yes. 23 yes, 1 absent.
Have received necessary majority. Item number 9 is adopted as presented. Next up, under new business, item number 10, Commissioner Gardner, you're recognized on item number 10.
Thank you, Mayor. At this time, I wish to enter item number 10 on first reading.
First reading, without objection, you heard next month. Thank you, Mr. Gardner. Next up is item number 11. I believe that's Commissioner Stanley. Commissioner Stanley, you're recognized on item 11.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm going to request waiver of rules on this because these need to get up if it passes. This is to enter into a temporary seasonal contract with the Kingsport Power Company, also known as AEP. Sullivan South Athletic Booster Club purchased around 30 banners for the seniors that played all the athletic like baseball, softball, soccer, tennis, and track for the ones that did not get to play this season due to the COVID-19. So this is the highway department has been involved in this, and they have worked with AEP to be able to hang these banners on their poles. So we are asking for waiver of rules, if that's okay.
You've heard the explanation. Mr. Stanley moved for the immediate introduction and adoption of item number 11. Todd, I believe I'll recognize you. Seconded by Commissioner Starnes. We have a question by Commissioner Broughton. Commissioner Broughton, you're recognized.
Yes, sir, Mayor. Thank you. Couple of things about this. One, I don't think we can do a resolution for just one school. I think it has to be countywide. And then where you get into trouble, you also have to include Bright Ridge. And like I said, I don't think that that this is really, I mean, I think it needs to be more encompassing than what it is.
Commissioner Carlton, you're recognized.
I just had a comment. I wanted to say that it is good to be united as a community while supporting the well-deserved students with the banners. That was my comment.
Any further questions? Commissioner Jones, and I'll let me recognize County Attorney first. Dan, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I spoke with a representative from the Highway Department, and I wouldn't call this Highway Department work, so it runs afoul of the Uniform County Highway Act. But I did tell them that I felt like if the school department asked them to do it, that it would be okay. The resolution speaks of Athletic Booster Club, which is not the school department, but I've made them aware of that. But I just wanted to go on the record to say that we've had that discussion. I didn't want that to come back and bite us, because hanging flags on electrical poles is not really highway department work. But if the school board asks them to do it, they can.
Okay, thank you, Dan, for clearing that up. And you're right, we need to clear up questions. Commissioner Jones.
I think for Commissioner Broughton, I thought it was you would have to name all the power companies that do. It's not just AEP. You'd have to name all of them in here. Bright Ridge, Bristol, would have to be named in here. So you might have to do one for each one, because you'd have to have a discussion with the power board. We just can't go out and say, well, we're going to do this until we've had discussion with them. And I think you had discussion with AEP.
Yes.
Get their permission. They were agreeable if we had a resolution.
Yes.
And I would ask, since it's part of my area, that I be included as a co-sponsor.
Okay, Commissioner Glover, you're and then you, Mark. I've got a list. Commissioner Glover.
It says it approximately affects 30 seniors who are unable to participate in their spring sports due to COVID-19. I think it's a very positive thing to do this for those kids after what they've been through this year. When you've got kids that can't graduate and be recognized for what they've accomplished, I think that's a sad thing. I think it would be very good to do this for these folks and their families. I'm in support of it. I think it's something nice, and I think it's good for you to work with the Booster Club to get it done. I want to thank the Highway Department too, all the guys that work there for volunteering to do that. I think it's a good gesture.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Glover. Commissioner Vance.
I'd like to be a co-sponsor on this resolution. I know we're living in untreaded waters we've never lived in before, and it's very emotional to these high school students that are not getting to have the traditional graduation. but I think that Dan brought up a good point. So I'd like to ask the sponsor to amend a resolution where the Athletic Boosters Club and the Sullivan County Board of Education or Sullivan South High School, in combination of both, is requesting the highway department to do that. I think as long as we show that what Dan's saying is the school system is asking for this, then the highway department can do this. But doing it for an organization as a booster club could be a gray area if somebody tried to make a political issue against the highway department over doing that later. So I'd like to ask the sponsor to add me as a co-sponsor, but also put in the language, the Athletic Boosters Club and the staff of Sullivan South High School.
Sponsor agrees to accept the amendment.
Yes, sir.
Sponsor agrees. We have Commissioner Morrell.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think it's a great thing, Angie, and really, this is really something that means a lot to the whole county. I would just ask that we, as we're doing this, if Central High School, East High School, if they would opt for something like this, as requested by the school department and the Booster Club at any other high schools in Sullivan County, that we would do the same thing for them.
Commissioner,
If I could,
Commissioner Stanley, you're recognized, and Commissioner Eckert, I've got you on the list.
the school, Sullivan South High School knows that we're doing this because the teacher that does the graphic designs there, he's the one that done the design for the banners and stuff.
Commissioner Eckert, you're recognized. Can you hear me, David?
I can. Sorry about that. I had to get off my the positive in this is obviously recognizing the students. For anybody who's driven downtown Bristol, on each side of the State Street, you'll see Virginia High students have been recognized, the sports, the Tennessee High students on private businesses and all that. And I was trying to go through this thing to look at the I know there's a diagram about the power poles, but let me just say this. As someone who's a board member of BTS in Bristol, I understand the power poles are very precious and what can go on them. And I know it was kind of approved and I was trying to find it, but each power pole is owned by the power company, and some of them, maybe not all of them are. And so it can't really be a blanket thing, in my opinion, to do east and to do, you're getting all different power companies involved. I wish there would be a better way to do this, to be honest with you. Because honestly, I don't think our highway department needs to be touching the power poles. I don't know if this has ever come up in my tenure in Bristol, but I know our linemen touch the power poles. And I don't think the highway department, I don't know if they're trained to do that. And so I would tread very lightly, especially with who's getting on those poles and touching the poles. I think AEP should be the ones putting the flags on the pole, in my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Have others.
Could I ask Eric to come up? He has actually been working with AEP too.
Okay, we'll recess. And then Mr. Kearney, if you will address the question from the Commissioner.
First of all, I'm open to any questions, but this was a very great learning process for the Highway Department. Ms. Stanley made this request to us, and let's start with Mr. Eckert. We have multiple red lights in Sullivan County, and we tried to find enough, we'll call them utility poles, to hang these banners on that Sullivan County owns. And basically, don't hold me to it, but simple math, roughly half of these banners would be hung on Sullivan County poles, being our red lights. There are red lights at the intersection of Sullivan South, and there are red lights at the intersection of Moreland Drive and Rock Springs Road. And those poles will cover roughly half of these signs. And Also, we got Bright Ridge involved, thinking that possibly they were their poles. They came out and initially thought they were, and then they found out they weren't. Then we contacted AEP, and Ms. Stanley, is requesting a licensing agreement. All the appropriate paperwork was filled out from the county. There's been questions about, can the highway department do this? Of course, that's up to this body, but we're more than qualified. And also back to, COVID-19, the city of Kingsport also was nice enough to make sure that we had all of the proper hardware to mount this with on the poles, because the county not having many utility poles, we did not have, enough appropriate hardware to hang these with. And the city of Kingsport has been nice enough to donate them. And there is no time frame on this seasonal. It is nothing but a verbal, and we've assured them that it would come down in a timely manner and all of the hardware would be returned to the city of Kingsport.
Thank you, Mr. Kearney. Any questions, Mr. Kearney? Seeing none, Angie, you renew your motion?
Yes, sir.
The sponsor renews her motion for adoption, immediate introduction, adoption of item number 11. Seconded by, I don't have a copy. Who is the second on it? Ms. Stanley, who's the second on?
Leisha, Darlene.
Okay.
And Todd on there.
Properly seconded. Any further questions? Seeing none, we're ready to vote on item number 11. Madam Clerk, take the vote.
Akerd?
Yes.
Commissioner Akerd votes yes. Blaylock?
Yes.
Commissioner Blaylock votes yes. Broughton?
Yes.
Commissioner Broughton votes yes. Calton?
Yes.
Commissioner Calton votes yes. Cole? Commissioner Cole votes yes. Crawford?
Yes.
Commissioner Crawford votes yes. Cross?
Yes.
Commissioner Cross votes yes. Crosswhite? Commissioner Crosswhite votes yes. Gardner?
Yes.
Commissioner Gardner votes yes. George?
Yes.
Commissioner Georgia votes yes. Glover?
Yes.
Commissioner Glover votes yes. Harker Road?
Yes.
Commissioner Harker Road votes yes. Heron? Absent. Hutton?
Yes.
Commissioner Hutton votes yes. Jones?
Yes.
Commissioner Jones votes yes. King?
Yes.
Commissioner King votes yes. Leonard?
Yes.
Commissioner Leonard votes yes. Locke?
Yes.
Commissioner Locke votes yes. Morrell?
Yes.
Commissioner Morrell votes yes. Stanley?
Yes.
Commissioner Stanley votes yes. Starnes?
Yes.
Commissioner Starnes votes yes. Stidham?
Yes.
Commissioner Stidham votes yes. Vance?
Yes.
Commissioner Vance votes yes. Woods?
Yes.
Commissioner Woods votes yes. 23 yes, 1 absent.
Have received necessary majority. Item number 11 is adopted as amended.
Thank you.
Next up, item number 12. Commissioner Morrell, you're up recognized for first reading on item number 12.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This resolution authorizes the purchasing agent to enter into a lease agreement for a copier for the Sullivan County school system. I think this is actually in the school nutrition end of it. Their current contract has ended, and they would be spending up to $3,885 on this, not to exceed that amount. This is sort of a housekeeping thing at the end of the year. I'm requesting waiver of rules on this, if there's no objection to that.
You've heard the explanation. Proper motion. Seconds. Waive the rule for immediate introduction and adoption. Any questions? I'm sorry. Todd, you're recognized. I'm sorry. You're very small on my screen now. I've got the resolution agenda up here. You're recognized.
Oh, that's fine. I was just going to ask Mr. Morrell if he could include Mr. Akerd for a co-sponsor on this.
Well, sure.
I was going to get there.
Anytime.
I think that's out of order, but I won't say anything. Okay. Mr. Morrell, you agree?
We agree.
Any further questions? Any of you guys on the screen here? I can see you now. Seeing none, we're ready to vote. Number 12.
Akerd,
Hallelujah, yes.
Commissioner Akerd votes yes. Blaylock,
Yes.
Commissioner Blaylock votes yes. Broughton,
Absolutely, yes.
Commissioner Broughton votes yes. Calhoun,
Yes.
Commissioner Calhoun votes yes. Cole, Commissioner Cole votes yes. Crawford,
Yes.
Commissioner Crawford votes yes. Cross,
Yes.
Commissioner Cross votes yes. Crosswhite, Commissioner Crosswhite votes yes. Gardner,
Yes.
Commissioner Gardner votes yes. George, Commissioner George votes yes. Glover,
Yes.
Commissioner Glover votes yes. Harker Road, Harker Road,
Terry?
Yes. Yes.
Commissioner Harker Road votes yes. Heron, absent. Hutton, Commissioner Hutton votes yes. Jones,
Yes.
Commissioner Jones votes yes. King,
Yes.
Commissioner King votes yes. Leonard,
Yes.
Commissioner Leonard votes yes. Locke, Commissioner Locke votes yes. Morrell,
Yes.
Commissioner Morrell votes yes. Stanley,
Yes.
Commissioner Stanley votes yes. Starnes,
Yes.
Commissioner Starnes votes yes. Stidham,
Yes.
Commissioner Stidham votes yes. Vance,
Yes.
Commissioner Vance votes yes. Woods,
Yes.
Commissioner Woods votes yes. 23 yes, 1 absent.
Having received the necessary majority, item number 12 is adopted. Mr. Morrell, you're recognized on item 13.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is another housekeeping resolution for the school department at the end of the year. This recognizes additional funding that they received through a voluntary pre-K grant. This would be for the 1920 school budget. So we're actually amending that, for the 1920 year. And you can see the account numbers that it's been assigned to down through there. And so I would also request this on waiver of rules if there's no opposition.
You've heard the motion to immediate introduction and adoption of item 13. Properly seconds. Any question for the sponsor? None on the board, none in the room. I believe we're ready to vote. Madam Clerk, take the vote on item 13.
Akerd,
Yes.
Commissioner Akerd votes yes. Blaylock,
Yes.
Commissioner Blaylock votes yes. Broughton,
Yes.
Commissioner Broughton votes yes. Calhoun,
Yes.
Commissioner Calhoun votes yes. Cole,
Yes.
Commissioner Cole votes yes. Crawford,
Yes.
Commissioner Crawford votes yes. Cross,
Yes.
Commissioner Cross votes yes. Crosswhite, Commissioner Crosswhite votes yes. Gardner,
Yes.
Commissioner Gardner votes yes. George,
Yes.
Commissioner George votes yes. Glover,
Yes.
Commissioner Glover votes yes. Harker Road,
Yes.
Commissioner Harker Road votes yes. Heron, absent. Hutton,
Yes.
Commissioner Hutton votes yes. Jones,
Yes.
Commissioner Jones votes yes. King,
Yes.
Commissioner King votes yes. Leonard,
Yes.
Commissioner Leonard votes yes. Locke,
Yes.
Commissioner Locke votes yes. Morrell,
Yes.
Commissioner Morrell votes yes. Stanley,
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
Oh, Commissioner Stanley votes yes. Starnes,
Yes.
Commissioner Starnes votes yes. Stidham,
Yes.
Commissioner Stidham votes yes. Vance,
Yes.
Commissioner Vance votes yes. Woods, Commissioner Woods votes yes. 23 yes, 1 absent.
Have received the necessary majority, item 13 is adopted as presented. Next up, item 14. Commissioner Stanley, I believe you're recognized on item 14. I have Morrell and Stanley, correct? Morrell. You're the prime sponsor,
Thank you,
Angie.
Mr. Chairman. This resolution is another house cleaning thing at the end of the year for the school department. This recognizes where they received in 18-19 budget year a SCORE supplemental funding grant, and they're rolling that over to the 19 and 20 budget year this year. And you can see it must have been an amount of $12,606, and you can see the account numbers there that's going into for the 1920 budget year. And if there's no opposition, I'd like to have this also as waiver rules.
You've heard the explanation, properly seconded. Mr. Morrell renews his motion for Mark, you recognize.
Hey, Randy, what stipends? Is that pay?
I was hoping you would know that, Mark. I can barely spell that sometimes.
Mr. Bailey, can you tell me what stipends is on this resolution?
It may be in accounting.
It's in the 100 account, but it's.
I see it there.
I don't know.
I saw it a minute ago. I forgot.
Non-certified substitutes. It's like, it must be something for pay, but I didn't know we're paying people
Sometimes there's
stipends.
a fee involved in getting someone
You're on the
to
list.
appear, make
Todd.
talk,
I'll get you on the
whatever.
list.
That's what it's for.
It's what, I'm sorry.
Maybe, I'm not sure in this particular grant, but it would be just something to pay a person to make an appearance, to make a speech or provide some comment on it. I believe Mr. Cross back there has offered to give a very specific.
I would say on this particular, and I don't know exactly what it's for, but a stipend could be for a summer school. In other words, when I work summer school, I get a stipend for that. It's not my pay. I get so much per hour or a flat so much per month just for working summer school. That's not part of my regular pay. Or for an after school program, that could be a stipend. Or for a coach, that could be a stipend for a coach. But that's usually what stipends is.
Mr. Broughton, I believe, wants to be recognized, and I believe he has an answer for that too. Todd, you reckon?
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Cross is spot on. And what this might be is like when you're required to do certain things, you don't get paid for it, but you get a stipend for going to it. Like if you go to a certain class, the stipend will be X amount of dollars. So that's like Mr. Cross said, that's just more or less pay for performing the duty that you're required to do.
Thank you. Any further questions?
Sounds good to me.
Seeing none, we're ready to vote on item number 14 to waive the rule for immediate introduction and adoption.
Akerd,
Yes.
Commissioner Akerd votes yes. Blaylock,
Yes.
Commissioner Blaylock votes yes. Broughton,
Yes.
Commissioner Broughton votes yes. Calton,
Yes.
Commissioner Calton votes yes. Cole,
Yes.
Commissioner Cole votes yes. Crawford, Commissioner Crawford votes yes. Cross, Commissioner Cross votes yes. Crosswhite, Commissioner Crosswhite votes yes. Gardner,
Yes.
Commissioner Gardner votes yes. George, Commissioner George votes yes. Glover, Commissioner Glover
I did
votes yes.
not.
Harker Road,
Yes.
Commissioner Harker Road votes yes. Heron, absent. Hutton,
Yes.
Commissioner Hutton votes yes. Jones,
Yes.
Commissioner Jones votes yes. King,
Yes.
Commissioner King votes yes. Leonard,
Yes.
Commissioner Leonard votes yes. Locke,
That's what I thought, but I wasn't
Commissioner
sure.
Locke votes yes. Morrell, Commissioner Morrell votes yes. Stanley, Commissioner Stanley votes yes. Starnes, Commissioner Starnes votes yes. Stidham,
Yes.
Commissioner Stidham votes yes. Vance,
Yes.
Commissioner Vance votes yes. Woods,
Yes.
Commissioner Woods votes yes. 23 yes, 1 absent.
Have received necessary majority. Item 14 is adopted as read. Next up, item number 15. Commissioner Jones, you're recognized on item number 15.
There's been a lot of water go under the bridge since we voted on this. We've actually approved it March of last year. And that, if you're like me, those dates just about mean nothing. But this is for the industrial park. Most of it's going to Bristol. We have a railroad spur up there that we're developing in that industrial park. And the timing from last night, if I'm correct, with Mr. Bailey saying that the time was right to go to the market and to get these issued. And since we've already approved it, this pretty much is a housekeeping to allow the go ahead on that bond market to get these approved. So we're asking for it on the waiver of rules to go ahead and get it done.
Thank you. I turned that off so I can hear the outliers. Sam, what were you
Oh, I was just saying Commissioner Gardner.
Commissioner Gardner is the co-sponsor, so you've heard the explanation. Any question for the sponsor? Commissioner Dillon, you're recognized.
Thank you. This is originally, we did this as an $8 million bond, and I know we're looking at needing the $4 million right now.
Right.
So since the other $4 million was for the west side and there was no viable option at this time, I just assume that when this comes back, they'll honor the original part and do the full $8 million, since that's what we were actually voted on and approved.
I will defer to Mr. Bailey. He's nodding his head that that's correct.
So it is correct that the other
That would
$4
be
million
it,
will
yes,
be
ma'am.
done at a later date since it was already
Yes.
approved.
Mhm.
Thank you.
A bit of further explanation is Bristol has a project ready to go, and we don't have one ready to go in Kingsport. Commissioner Vance.
During the budget committee, when this came up, there was something that was stated that there was a grant that we're able to get, like $1 million grant. Is that, Mr. Bailey, would you kind of allude to that, knowing we need to get this bond issued to receive the $1 million in grant money towards projects?
Yes, we've got to get the project started to get the $1 million grant. It slipped up as to the timeout on the grant. It's been extended in the past, and they didn't want to extend it again. So that's the status of why we're doing this right now.
Right.
Thank you, Mr. Vance. Any further questions for the sponsor, Mr. Bailey or myself? Commissioner Hutton.
I'm just, as I read it over, I was looking for, I mean, it says industrial park, and it would be helpful to me if it was specific, because it took me a while to realize that it was about the one we did a year ago, just the way that it's written. I don't know if there's a way to amend the resolution to say that it's specifically for the Bristol project. It's just kind of overly vague for me. That would be helpful.
Mr. Bailey.
Normally, these things are written so that it provides a little bit of flexibility, but it is intended for that, and I don't see any problem in adding a particular language to it, since we're down tight to the spending on that. So,
No, we could amend it to fund the development of Partnership Part 2
that would
owned by Networks
yes.
Inc. Without objection. Amend it to apply to development of Partnership Part 2 in Bristol. That way it'll leave it open. We're developing a rail transfer station, and this is a grading bill for the site. But if we leave it open and not specify grading or construction or whatever, that would give the Networks group some flexibility. Have somebody, David, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chairman. If I remember correctly, going through Networks, the original resolution laid out how it was being paid back by the percentages of Networks, Bristol, Sullivan County, and Kingsport. I guess, is that still all the same, or does that apply here?
Yes, that would be, if it's paid back whenever it is, that would be it.
Yep, perfect. Thank you.
I actually think the city may have had this in their previous budgets, the debt service, David. So, Mr. Jones.
I hope to have our network CEO here maybe at the next meeting, but we have recently been selling property. The one at the airport, they just sold, I think it was 8 acres. Not on the airport property, but next to FedEx. There was a piece of property was sold there recently.
Partnership Park 1.
And then down off of Interstate 26 at that intersection at Crossings, there's another building under construction. So a piece of property has been sold there next to Lamar, if you know where Lamar's sign moved to. So if you drive by there, you'll see something coming up out of the ground there. So we are moving forward. I'd like to commend Networks for what they're doing and getting these properties moved.
Thanks, Sam. I think they'll be anxious to come out and make a quarterly report to the commission. Any further recognition, questions? Seeing none, we're ready to vote on item number 15 as amended. Madam Clerk, take the vote.
Akerd,
Yes.
Commissioner Akerd votes yes. Blaylock, Commissioner Blaylock votes yes. Broughton,
Yes.
Commissioner Broughton votes yes. Calvin,
Yes.
Commissioner Calvin votes yes. Cole, Commissioner Cole votes yes. Crawford,
Yes.
Commissioner Crawford votes yes. Cross,
Yes.
Commissioner Cross votes yes. Crosswhite, Commissioner Crosswhite votes yes. Gardner,
Yes.
Commissioner Gardner votes yes. George, Commissioner George votes yes. Glover,
Yes.
Commissioner Glover votes yes. Harker,
Yes.
Commissioner Harker votes yes. Heron, absent. Hutton, Commissioner Hutton votes yes. Jones,
Yes.
Commissioner Jones votes yes. King,
Yes.
Commissioner King votes yes. Leonard,
Yes.
Commissioner Leonard votes yes. Locke, Commissioner Locke votes yes. Burrell,
Yes.
Commissioner Commissioner Stanley votes yes. Starnes, Commissioner Starnes votes yes. Stidham,
Yes.
Commissioner Stidham votes yes. Vance,
Yes.
Commissioner Vance votes yes. Woods, Commissioner Woods votes yes. 23 yes, 1 absent.
Having received necessary majority, item number 15 is adopted, and we will move forward the issuance of the bonds, and Mr. Bailey will keep you all informed. That finishes our resolution agenda, and if I could take a point of personal privilege with the commission. My memory only goes back for about 50 years to the quarterly court of Sullivan County when they held that here in this courthouse, but I don't think there's ever been in the history of Sullivan County a commission that's operated under conditions you're having to operate under. And so I just personally want to commend you for making the adjustments necessary and passing important legislation that's important to the state of Tennessee, for more important to Sullivan County. So I want to add my personal thanks. Two items I would like to end up with, and then I'll take some personal comments from you all, is that with the authority granted to me by the commission, I am going to resign my seat on the Tri-Cities Airport Authority and appoint as the representative of the Sullivan County Commission, Sam Jones. Sam has agreed to serve. I remained the only elected official on the Tri-City Airport Commission, and I think it's proper that that we historically we've had a member of the commission, which has historically been the mayor, but I think it's time that we move on to the commission and a private citizen as an appointee of Sullivan County. So I do that. You funded recently a Sullivan County Industrial Board funded, with your permission, ThinkSpace, which is an entrepreneurial firm. I think Mr. Gwynn has been here to report to you a couple of times. The founding board of directors has been appointed originally, and this body needs a representative on that founding board of directors, and where that founding board of directors is right now are adopting bylaws. And I would, with the authority granted, appoint Dwight King as the county representative. Now, the entities that support ThinkSpace Inc. right now, and it will be doing business as another name, is our Kingsport and Sullivan County. We've invited Bristol to participate, and we will have participation in the region. But the board of directors has to adopt a set of bylaws for us to be able to operate. So those are two things I do. Okay, any personal comments from any member of the commission? Mr. Jones, you're recognized.
Well, first of all, thank you for the consideration and the appointment. I grew up working at the airport and have been to many of the meetings. Have tried to keep up with what's going on out there. Commissioner Stanley and I both represent that area. And in the past, we've had a commissioner from that area serve on that board. So thank you. So, second, you're all invited Monday to Kingsport to the Memorial Day celebration. On this board, Commissioner Stidham, myself will be involved in that. That's at 11 a.m. at the Veterans Memorial. Plan your boating outings and picnics after lunch and come down and to remember the people, men and women who we celebrate for the day that we are commemorating and remembering the sacrifices that were made by them. And third of all, Commissioner Harker shared with me, he's going to be going to Nashville. I want you to keep him in your prayers as he goes down and has some serious tests made that may, hopefully, this is going to help him recover his health. And Terry, we love you, and we want to have our prayers over you while you travel and meet with those doctors in Nashville.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other comments? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Have a motion to adjourn. Any objection? Without objection, seconded. We're adjourned.